On the agenda tonight, we're going back to 2018. We're going to be taking a look at Cyndi Lauper, and she's going to be performing If I Could Turn Back Time. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, this is the second performance that we're looking at from the Kennedy Center Honors in 2018, the Cher tribute. The previous one we looked at was Adam Lambert, so you can check that out if you want to independently. But we're going to be jumping into this. I'll play the video from the beginning, and we are going to be jumping into it. So, as always, there's going to be a link in the description below if you want to watch the performance the whole way through without me interrupting it. But we'll get into the performance, and I'm going to leave in the part where Cyndi's obviously told Cher that she couldn't do the show because she was going to Los Angeles, and Cher makes that very public. Let's get into it.
Grammy, Emmy, and Tony winner, Cyndi Lauper.
I lied.
If I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd take back those words that'll hurt you and you'd stay. I don't know why I did the things I did. I don't know why I said the things I said. Pride's like a knife, it could cut deep inside. Words are like weapons, they wound sometimes. I didn't really mean to hurt you. I didn't want to see you go. I know that made you cry, but baby, if I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd take back those words that'll hurt you and you'd stay. If I could reach the stars, I'd give them all to you. Then you'd love me, love me, love me used to do. If I could turn back time, my world was shattered, I was torn apart. Like someone took a knife and drove it deep in my heart. I looked out that door, I swore I wouldn't care, but I lost everything, darling, then and there. Too strong to tell you I was sorry, too proud to tell you I was wrong. I know that was fine, but baby, if I could turn back time, come on, if I could find a way.
I'm just going to jump in here, because the great thing about this performance is the way that Cyndi puts on a show, walks around the stage, and you'll see this by the end of the performance, the way that she's totally changed the engagement that she had with the audience when she first started. You can see that everyone's quite reserved. There are a few people standing up, but probably only 3 or 4. But then wait till we get to the end of the video. It's a great example of putting the entertainment, the showmanship, and bringing the audience into the performance. It's something that is very difficult to do, and not every artist does it, but Cyndi Lauper is an example of such a natural showwoman on stage. And the great thing about when she starts this song is that she is setting the tempo. You might imagine that at a performance like this, when an artist comes on, the drummer might be playing to a click track and they know the tempo that they're going to be playing to. But Cyndi comes on stage, she gives the count in, and if you know the original, you'll notice how we are slightly pushed tempo-wise, but that is intentional. Cyndi gets the energy exactly where she wants it from the tempo. She doesn't want it to be lagging behind because she wants this energy to get everybody into it. And it starts with the music. If the tempo's lagging and she's walking around the stage, it'll seem like she's plodding because the song's a little bit too slow. People wouldn't really be that enthusiastic about clapping along anyway, because it wouldn't feel like there's the right energy in the performance. And that's the great thing about Cyndi being a true artist, knowing exactly what she wants to get from this cover of Cher's song. She's putting it exactly where she wants it, so then she can get the energy going in her performance and then get the energy back from the crowd. So we're going to take it back and now focus in on Cyndi's voice. I'm going to take down the level of the backing as well, so we can really focus on it. I do have a video on Cyndi already on the channel, which you'll be able to check out independently, but now we have the pitch monitoring software on screen, so we can see it in even more detail. And the thing about Cyndi's voice is her pitch accuracy, and this is what gives her sound. Her pitch accuracy, just hitting these notes dead on, but having that accuracy paired with a pretty much constant vibrato that hides within her sound. We are going to start it at the beginning of the second verse. Have a listen to this.
If I could turn back time, my world was shattered, I was torn apart, like someone took a knife and drove it deep in my heart.
So when we're looking at the pitch monitoring software, we can see these constant waves that are happening and they're not consistent. So what I said in that last video was that Cyndi's vibrato seemed totally natural and it just happened. She wasn't intentionally hitting a particular frequency or pitch range with her vibrato, keeping it really even like that. So we'll have another listen, and first of all, without slowing it down, try and hear these waves in her voice, and then we will slow it down and it'll be more evident.
Turn back time. My world was shattered, I was torn apart, like someone took a knife and drove it deep in my heart.
And you can see it, especially on this last phrase, the way that the notes are just deep in my heart. They're wobbling all the time. She's not saying deep in my heart and kind of hitting notes in a regimented way like that. Let's take it back and we'll have another listen, but we'll slow it down as well.
Turn back time. My world was shattered, I was.
Great example there. It's got that wobble, and that's just part of her sound, and it's these things that make up her sound and make up her personality and why she sounds like Cyndi Lauper and nobody else. All of these subconscious things that just happen naturally. Obviously the tone of her voice as well being quite bright. I mean, it's not, she's not sitting it down there. It's more up in that space.
Torn apart, like someone took a knife and drove.
And we'll listen to the end of this phrase.
Deep in my heart.
Listen to that. Deep in my. It's just all in there constantly. You don't really notice this, or at least you don't notice it when you're listening to it, when you're analysing it. Of course, it's going to stand out more when we slow it down, but you start to be able to piece together why she sounds like she does. So we'll jump back into the performance, we'll bring the band back into it as well, and watch it to the end.
I take back those words I hurt you, and you'd stay if I could reach the stars. I'd give them all to you. Then you love me like you used to do. If I could turn back time, if I could turn back time.
And there we have it. High fives all around. Look at the change from the beginning of the performance to the end of the performance. And that's what performing is all about. This is such a great example of a top-level performer giving the audience energy and then working off that energy. It's definitely a two-way street, and it just takes the performance to another level once everybody's into it. And I've already said that it is a very difficult thing to do. Some people just never quite get that ability to connect with an audience. It's great as well because you get the impression that Cyndi is in control of everything here, just from the way that she starts the song but ends the song as well. Gets the band just extending that outro a little bit, just harnessing the energy of the crowd. She knows that everybody's on side and she can use that energy, just extending it. So just a top-level professional in live performance. Very briefly at the end here, I'm going to bust the guitar out just to go through the rhythm of this song because it is so straightforward, and the little trick that they use in the chorus to make it sound even more interesting because of the chords and the chord progression that we've got going on here. You could be forgiven for thinking that this is going to get boring very quickly if you've just seen it written down. But first of all, when we're into this rhythm, we've got this beat that we're starting with before the key change, but we'll get into that. We've got this, and this little sus4, which is such a huge part of the sound. That's got delay on it, so it means that we hear that sus4 being added in and repeated. I'm just playing the chorus here, so we have this, and that's where we come in, where we shouldn't really come in, because if we're counting this out, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have a chord change. So it means that we've got 2 bars that we're going through, and then we change chord, and that happens all the way through the chorus. But at the end, when we go into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, we're changing back into the B a bar too early. But that's the point, because it's going to take you by surprise, and by just throwing that element in there, it means that the chorus doesn't sound old. It doesn't get boring as quickly as it should do because of that little trick of just taking you by surprise. And the other trick that we've got, this isn't a long song, but right at the end we have this key change that isn't a semitone, it's not a tone, it's actually a tone and a half. So we've got 3 semitones that we just bring everything up by. So taking this, we actually go 1, 2, 3, and now we're all the way up there, and we're still gonna have exactly the same thing that we've got going on, and then into the E minor 7th if you want to play up here. A, back into the D, and that's the same timing in the chorus now with that key change. So with that key change, we're taking it up to a higher place. It means that the vocal can get higher as well. And then at the end of the performance, that's, crescendo, just holding that last note. Let me just take this back so we get to appreciate that as well. There's the key change. And there it was. So this final chorus that we have, we actually have, it's not actually that high for a female vocal, but that's the B4 that we have, and on screen you'll be able to see the female ranges. There is actually a fair amount of guitar work going on here from that lead perspective, because we do have some unison bends that come in with the and that might be with vibrato, either on the frets as I was doing, or with whammy bar. You can just bend them up, and then as long as you're matching those pitches with the bends, you'll be fine. Apply that whammy bar, and we'll have a listen here. Yeah, and here we've got this. So designated lead notes. And there it was just that with, quite heavy vibrato on there. Then a few repeats, and then 2 frets further up. And then just that, then we're back into our B, because we haven't had the key change yet. So there's a lot in here, but the main part is Cyndi putting on the show and just getting everybody on side, because when you're watching the video to begin with, you can be forgiven for thinking, oh, this is going to be a tough crowd, because everyone's sitting down. Even when they're clapping along, they've kind of got that dead look in their eyes. So great performance here from Cyndi from every single perspective. So this is why it's so difficult to try and copy another singer directly and authentically, because they'll have something like this going on that they're not consciously doing. It's just a subconscious stylization that bleeds into their voice, and sometimes it bleeds in at 30%, sometimes it bleeds in at 58%, and then 73.25%. It's just a natural thing that is seemingly random, but it makes up part of their sound. But thank you guys for requesting this video for me to take a look at. As always, keep those suggestions and requests coming in the comments section below. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!